What's going on, guys? It's Mike and Mitch from Quickie DFS, here to break down the NFL Week 6 main slate with you guys. We have the Vegas odds and scores pulled up right now, and I'm going to let Mitch take over and break it down with you guys.
What's up, guys? Let's take a look at the Vegas odds. A lot of game stacks I'm going to like this week as far as GPPs go and for cash. At the top here, I like this game between the Bengals and the Detroit Lions. I think that you can go Burrow and one or two pass catchers, run it back with Swift. Moving down, go to some of the higher implieds here. I like the Chargers in the Ravens game. I think that is a good game stack. Not sure who's going to win that game, but I think it's a good game stack. You could either play one of the two quarterbacks and go with their pass catchers and run it back with Mark Andrews or something like that. Moving down.
I don't agree that the Ravens are going to beat the Chargers. I can't believe they're giving them that. It should be
Vegas.
flipped. Yeah.
Maybe
That should be flip-flopped.
maybe they're home traveling. That might be it. Cleveland and the Cardinals here opened up with a great team total. They since have dropped down a great amount of points. It looks like it's going to be awfully windy. Kyler's pretty banged up on his throwing shoulder. Baker's left shoulder, opposite throwing shoulder, is going to be hurting him all year. So for whatever reason, I guess with the injuries and the wind, they've dropped it down. I do like this Washington and the Chiefs game here. I think that's going to be a good game stack. Maybe Heineke at quarterback. So that's the Vegas odds. Just going to go with our quarterbacks here. At the top, I'm going to look at DraftKings, let you do FanDuel. At the top here, Lamar looks good to me. If he's fully healthy, on Thursday he did not practice. Something to look out for, some kind of illness. Doesn't look to be COVID, but we're filming this video on Thursday night, so today he didn't practice. Look for news on Friday. I assume he'll play. I think he's in play for me. I also like Herbert right below him for $100. The Ravens are pretty banged up on the defensive end. They're not the old defense they used to be. I like Heineke for his rushing upside, and he's been throwing the ball pretty well. The attempts are there, the yardage, and he's been throwing the ball pretty well. Like I said, last week was his worst week, and maybe that was a floor game for him, and he had 11 points. I like him this week in a game that he'll be having to throw and make plays. I'll kick it off to you on FanDuel.
So, as Mitch said, I like Lamar Jackson as well. I like his rushing upside. We're just waiting to see what happens with this illness. It's Thursday night right now while we're recording this, so wait and see what happens with them. I do like Herbert. I don't really think I'll be able to pay $8K for him. I'd rather get up to Lamar, I think, because of the rushing ability. I'm a fan of Herbert, though, so if you can get to him, get to him. Going down here, I don't mind Joe Burrow against Detroit at all. He has a good price. I like the 74 on him because I also like Taylor Heineke just for 100 less. I'll probably see myself getting the Heineke because there's rushing upside and he's playing Kansas City. And that's a very porous defense. They're not good at all, so I like to attack them. Run it with go with Taylor Heineke, go Terry McLaurin and Ricky Seals-Jones, and maybe run it back with Kelsey or Hill if you have enough money. It's probably going to be a little bit expensive. Or even Darrell Williams, actually, because he's filling in for Clyde. Going down here, I don't mind Goff, just because his price, I probably won't get there. I'd rather go to Wentz for 200 less. I like him against Houston. Pair him with someone like Zach Pascal, like Michael Pittman. And if you have to get real cheap against Dallas, I don't mind Mac Jones. He's going to get you 10 to 15 points, maybe 20, hopefully, if he throws for 2 touchdowns. But I don't mind him. Going to running back here, guys, for FanDuel. Earlier this week, Mitch and I were discussing Christian McCaffrey. He seemed to be like that he was going to play him until this happened, that he didn't practice today. And I was always like unsure of it the whole week going into it because I didn't know how many snaps he was going to get. And now that he didn't practice, it doesn't look like he's going to play. How do you feel about that?
I'm not. Going into this week, he was practicing very limited every day. For whatever reason, on Thursday, he decided not to practice, which was quite alarming because I did want to play him, especially on DraftKings 8,800. McCaffrey is never that cheap, so I did want to play him. He didn't practice on Thursday, so I don't want to risk it now. On FanDuel, I didn't want to do it at all, just the 10,000. Still not. I want to see Cook complete a full game before I put money on him. That I don't want to risk it with Cook. I think you wanted to talk about Eckler.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Eckler, especially because how he catches the ball out of the backfield. And as you guys can see, he always gets targets. The most targets he had was against Dallas. He had 9, but he always averages about 5. We'll go with that. And he still gets rushing attempts, so that's a big plus. He catches the ball a lot, and he's rushing the ball. So he has numerous ways to score a touchdown for you guys. So I'm really high on Eckler.
So the same reason that you like McCaffrey would be the same reason you would like Eckler. And he's healthy. It's he catches the ball, rushes the ball, gets the touchdowns. So that's the same reason why you would like Eckler. He's a healthy McCaffrey right now. Something I want to note is the running back position looks like the ugliest thing I've ever seen. There looks to be 15 people maybe.
Everybody's hurt. I've never seen anything like it before.
They're all questionable or on COVID. I'll say it's obvious. Anyone that were to be out that is questionable right now in these tiers, their backup would immediately become playable. I would think most of these guys here, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree with that.
With that being said, my favorite overall play at running back that I want to have the most exposure to is Darrell Henderson against the New York Giants. I think he's absolutely going to feast. He's going to hit over 100 yards for the first week. I'd like to see a touchdown. He's had one in almost every game this year. And I think he'll go over 100 yards versus the Giants. They're a terrible defense.
I as well will be locking in Darrell Henderson. I expect the Rams to get up and then have to run the ball, so that helps him out. It favors him a lot. I think this is the priciest he's been in this whole year, but he also does get targets out of the backfield, so that's a plus. He doesn't get as many as Eckler or Christian McCaffrey, but it's a plus that he still gets that. So I'll have a ton of Darrell Henderson, especially because I expect the Rams to destroy the Giants.
Yeah, look at this. These implied scores for these teams. That's a significant amount. Vegas is telling us that the Rams are going to destroy him. So we're going to play Darrell Henderson in all our lineups. If say everyone was healthy, if everyone was healthy besides McCaffrey, because that doesn't seem like it's going to be a thing anymore. If everyone was healthy, I think I would honestly lean either between these two. And I would throw in Jonathan Taylor for my mid-tier running back. Swift, Mixon, or Jonathan Taylor. Do you want us to talk about any one of these specifically?
Not specifically. If I had to choose one, though, out of that 3, I'm probably going to go with Swift. Only because he catches the ball. That's my favorite thing, guys. People catch the ball out of the backfield. I love it. That's what I want. So I'm going to try and target that as much as I possibly can. The only downfall is that he does split with Jamal Williams, and it really seems to be like a 50-50, maybe 60-40 type of split between them. It's very close, is what I'm saying. So I'm going to say that would be the one I would choose, is Swift out of those 3.
I like Swift too. He's trending to 70% of the snaps when I was looking into that. And Jonathan Taylor is also somebody that is dominant when he gets the ball, much like Swift. When Jonathan Taylor is getting the ball and not splitting with Marlon Mack and Naheem Hines and all that stuff, he's dominant. So I do like Jonathan Taylor. You expect him to be up on Houston. We can go back to the Vegas odds here. They're right here. Another almost 10 points implied score difference and a home running back. So Jonathan Taylor at a minimum price is a good play, and Vegas is telling us they're going to win. And you just hope he gets the snaps out of the backfield.
You hope he repeats what he did that previous game. Catches that ball for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then rushes for another 15, 16 snaps.
And a touchdown.
Yeah.
So talking about Saquon getting hurt, It absolutely sank us last week. I don't remember being that mad at fantasy football in probably the last 3 years. We were set up so perfect
Yeah.
for a big week going into that Friday Sunday afternoon game about 4 o'clock, going into a great position, and literally the first play Saquon pretty much snaps his ankle, so that sucks. But Devontae Booker's in play. I don't think
I'll be playing him. I think I'd rather play Darrell Williams.
Where's he at? Here he is.
Because there's no Clyde. He's a bit cheaper. He's in a high-powered offense. I know that Kansas City has not looked good, guys, but it's still a high-powered offense. It's somebody you want to target, and his price tag's tremendous.
He's cheaper.
You can't get over it.
On DraftKings, he's 4,800. So you love to see it over there. And what else is? Some news came out. He's kind of expensive though. Damian Williams went to COVID, got tested positive for COVID. So if this were to stick, if he wasn't vaccinated and tested negative 2 times in 24 hours,
I think he's going to be out.
Yeah, this Khalil Herbert would become playable, but at the price tag on both sites, Darrell Williams is cheaper.
Yeah, so I'll see I like them both, but it's a price tag thing. So I'll be playing Darrell Williams.
Sorry, I think I said he was 48. He's 49. So that I see him in my cash lineup. Just a price play and the amount of upside that he could bring. And anyone else on the running back side that you would like to talk about?
No, that pretty much wraps it up for me. So my 3 running backs that I'm picking from are Austin Eckler, Darrell Henderson, DeAndre Swift, and I'll throw on one more, and it's something that you said, and I like it now because I think they're going to win, and it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. So those are my 4 running backs I'll be looking to rotate my lineups.
That's a good core. I just want to throw in Joe Mixon if he were to be healthy here.
He played last week when he was questionable going into it, so I think he's going to play again. Because that Samaje Perine is also out, so I think that's another reason they try and get him in there.
So I like Mixon as well. We'll move on to wide receiver here. Someone that almost probably deserves to be in that upper echelon of almost $10,000 is Devontae Adams. He's always going to be at the top. It's hard to build a cash lineup without playing Devontae Adams on both sites. This is kind of disrespectful on FanDuel. He should be way higher than that. DraftKings priced him up a little bit, but still you can get to him. You're going to get to him, right?
Yeah, I'll have Devontae Adams again this week in all my lineups. My cash lineup, I'll have him everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. I do like Tyreek Hill as well. In a GPP, I will probably have both of them, but I don't think that I can get to them in cash. It'll be leave me too strapped everywhere else. Jamar Chase is a pretty good play in a Detroit stack. Run it with Swift and Burrow. I do like Jamar Chase. On DraftKings, I like him a lot more. I actually wouldn't play him on FanDuel. I think he's
expensive on FanDuel.
I think he's a little too expensive on FanDuel, but on DraftKings, I want to say 67. Yeah, he is a good play on DraftKings, I think.
Keenan Allen's cheaper. I think I'd rather play Keenan Allen.
Yeah, it kind of actually worries me outside of a game stack with Baltimore. It kind of actually worries me the amount of targets that Mike Williams is seeing though, but I wouldn't play Mike Williams either. But the amount of production we're seeing out of Mike Williams is kind of scaring me a little bit. I couldn't do it. I know you wanted to talk about this guy pairing them with Heineke, who we're pretty high on.
Yeah, so he's any QB that's played for Washington, the favorite guy is Scary Terry. So you're gonna stick to that. So you're gonna stick with Terry. You see his targets. It's crazy. You've seen stuff like that before, but he catches the ball, so he produces. I think he's due up for a touchdown here. Like I said, Kansas City has a bad defense. I don't know who's gonna be able to cover this guy. You just throw it up and he goes and gets it. It's the type of player he is. So I'm really high on McLaurin. I think him and Devontae are my favorite two.
I would go Devontae and Tyreek as my 2 favorites, but I can't, say I don't like McLaurin. If you go back over to Vegas just to bring it back up, it's the highest implied of the slate here. And, we really like Heineke. We just mentioned him as in our quarterbacks. It might even be cash playable, which I think I'll be getting to. But that McLaurin is a good play. I don't think many people will be on him just because he's not elite yet, I guess, with the amount of quarterbacks changes he's had. But I think this is a good spot for him here. I think Marquise Brown is going to be popular because Lamar Jackson is also going to be popular. Maybe Mark Andrews bites into Brown's ownership a little bit, but on FanDuel, we just saw how expensive he was.
He's $7K.
On FanDuel, on $7K on FanDuel, jeez. He's definitely a lot more easier to get to on DraftKings at $59.
I was messing around with my lineup. I had Brown in it. And now that I'm looking at it, I don't think I'll be able to afford him how I want to go. I just don't see myself doing it anymore.
I just had a very scary thought run through my head. Back-to-back weeks, we've seen Marquise Brown be injury-prone before. That would scare the shit out of me, paying $7,000 for him, and God forbid something happens. But $7K on FanDuel, don't think I could do it. On DraftKings, it's a little more likely. But I had a bad dream. That was scary right now, what I just thought about. Moving on down, I like T. Higgins. I do like some of the Bengals pass catchers. If you were going to play Carson Wentz, you said you would pair him with Michael Pittman.
Yep. He gets a lot of targets.
I would play Mac Jones with Jacoby Myers. This guy's going to score a touchdown eventually, right?
Yeah, I was very high on him last week. I called him like my number one play of the slate. Because it was against Houston, and he just didn't cut it out. He didn't
He got downed at the one.
Yeah,
he was at the one.
He just didn't do it. I saw that, and I was like, all right, well, there we go.
So, but if you say he's going to score a touchdown this week, and you say it every week, eventually you'll be right.
Yeah, right. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, just keep saying it. I know it's really ugly to say, and I probably say it a lot, but Robbie Anderson, you can play him this week. He's pretty cheap. Someone I'm really high on this week with Max Williams, the tight end for the Cardinals, going down. I kind of like Rondell Moore a lot. I think he's cheap, and I think they will run like 4 wide receiver sets now instead of trotting out the tight end like they were before they established Max Williams. Rondell Moore was getting a lot more targets. Now that Max Williams is out, I expect Rondell Moore's targets to go back up. This week, there's not too many cheap guys that I would play. Anyone cheap for you?
No, I'm cool.
Yeah, wide receiver, I think you're going to land right about in this area from 5,000 to 6,000 a lot. There's a lot of viable guys here in this area.
Yeah, and then if one guy I do want to mention that's questionable right there against the Rams is Kadarius Toney, because I don't think there's any Galladay. Yeah, he's doubtful. And I don't know if Sterling Shepard's still out or not. I don't know what's going on with his situation. So he's questionable still. So it's something to wait and find out. If they're both out, load up on Toney.
Yeah. So moving on with probably our 3 favorite plays this week. Devontae Adams, we both agree on. Mike likes who was it? McLaurin. I'm gonna take Tyreek Hill. I know he's expensive, but I do like Tyreek Hill this week. I think for the same reason Mike likes McLaurin, I think it's gonna shoot out. And then I'll just take the Jamar Chase here. Where is he at? 6,700. I'll take Jamar Chase. I think he has another big week.
So I know you said you weren't high on him just because of Mike Williams. I think Keenan Allen's too good of a receiver. We know he has the connection with Herbert. Mike Williams is going to come down to earth. We all know how this goes. We all know how fantasy football works. He's going to come down to earth eventually, and Keenan Allen still seeing the targets that he's always seen. So I'm going to go with Keenan Allen. So I'm going to go Devontae, McLaurin, and Keenan Allen.
All right, now moving on to tight end. What I like at tight end this week is going to be Travis Kelce at the top end of tight ends. He's kind of underpriced to me at 7,000. I think it belongs 75 to 8. It's kind of cheap to me to see him there in a game stack with Heineke and McLaurin. You throw in Travis Kelce or Tyreek, who I'm high on. This price a little higher, better to stomach though. But in a game stack like that, it's a great play. And I'll just keep it simple. If you either play for Travis Kelce, or you just go all the way down to Seals Jones. Also in the same game, we really like that game. Other than that, those are going to be the tight ends that I'm going to talk about. I'll let Mike kick off some.
All right, so going over to FanDuel, guys. Kelsey, he's 7K on DraftKings. He's 85 over here, so it's a little bit different. If I can get to him, I'm doing it. There's no questions asked. I don't know if I'll be able to. I don't mind Noah Fant at all with Bridgewater back. I know Locke was playing for a little bit because Bridgewater was hurt, but I like Noah Fant with Bridgewater back. I also like Tyler Higbee a lot. But to make it, like Mitch said, simple and short, it's really just Kelce or Ricky Seals-Jones. And if you end up with something in between that, go Fant or Higbee. And that's really where I'm at with tight ends on FanDuel.
Yeah, I agree. I would possibly play Mark Andrews. I don't want to leave this without talking about Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, if you want to pair him with Lamar, would be good. If these prices came out a little bit after Sunday Night Football, the Mark Andrews would be way, way, way cheaper. Way more expensive. He's honestly kind of cheap for what we saw. So I would play some Mark Andrews.
I like his price tag on DraftKings way more than FanDuel. He's 1,100 more on FanDuel.
So moving on to just defense, to me, I'm not going to prioritize any defense. I'm just going to play who I can, and it's going to be somebody cheap down here. If I don't play Jonathan Taylor, I'll play Houston. Hopefully Wentz throws a pick or something. If I don't play Mixon or a Jamar Chase, I'll play Detroit. And I'll even play Washington at this point against Patrick Mahomes. But if I do play one defense that I would want to pick if I had the money to do it, but like I said, I'll never prioritize any defense. I want to play probably the Panthers to here because I know I'll never play this much. But if I had a little bit of money, I would play the Panthers. That would be it.
All right, now guys, going over the FanDuel for defenses. Like Mitch said, we don't prioritize our defense. We go wherever we land. I don't see myself I can't do it yet. I can't play Washington against Kansas City. It's also 'cause I also kind of like the stack of that game. No to the Giants because I think the Rams win. I get behind the Texans like you said, but I do think Wentz has another good game like he did against Baltimore. I see myself actually. I know you said you want Carolina if you could pay up for one.
Mm-hmm.
I have enough to afford the Vikings, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. Reason being is because we already know McCaffrey did not practice and it's Thursday, so it's likely that he's not going to play. So they'll be stuck with Chuba, and then it's Sam Darnold and the DJ Moore show. So if you limit DJ Moore, you're good. That's what I think. So I'm gonna put the Vikings as my defense this week. I'm gonna stick with them.
All right, that should about wrap it up for us. Before we get out of here, we'll do a bold call play. Last week, my bold call was Nick Chubb, and he absolutely smashed. If anyone played him, I forget what he did. 23 points, over 161 yards rushing, went to the end zone. I wish I would have stayed with my gut and played him instead of going Saquon Barkley. That really, really made me mad, like I said. So my, play of the week or whatnot is going to be, where did he go? Rondale Moore. I think Rondale Moore is going to have a big week with Max Williams going out against Cleveland. I know Cleveland's defense is banged up and their cornerbacks are going to be limited. It's going to be hard for the Browns to stop DeAndre Hopkins. It's It's going to draw such a focus. I think Rondell Moore with extra targets from Williams going down is going to be a good play this week. That's what I'm going to go with.
All right, guys. So Mitch went with Rondell Moore. So he's cheap. So we'll go with yours being the cheap one, and I'll go with a little bit more expensive one. As I said, guys, I'm very high on him. I like this game a lot. I'm going to go with Terry McLaurin this week. I love the targets. And I don't think anybody in Kansas City is going to be able to stop him. And he's also due for a touchdown. So I'm going to go with Terry McLaurin scoring a touchdown this week. Maybe 2 of them. So definitely get him in your lineup along with Rondell Moore. You'll be able to get a lot of other good players in your lineup that we had mentioned previously. That pretty much wraps up this video. Do you have anything else to say?
No, that's it. I'm looking forward to Week 6. I think there's a lot of good GPP stacks to play. And I think with all the questionable running backs, late news going into Sunday is going to be a big deal on what kind of cheap guys open up if any of those running backs that are a game time decision do end up not playing. So I think there might be some edge on that going into this week. So with that being said, if you would like to get the rest of our plays and our lineups, and you don't have to worry about those things and we'll worry about them for you, follow us on Quickie DFS at Twitter and just DM us to get our plays.
Yep, that wraps it up. Please like and subscribe and have a good one, guys.